What's up, everyone? Kyle here. I'm really excited to be starting a subscription for this podcast. Now, that doesn't mean that you need a subscription to listen to this podcast, but the benefits of getting a subscription are no ads like this one, and a shout out on each episode, as well as knowing that your money is going towards doing something good. This money is not meant to go to me. Some of it is meant to help me maintain this podcast and keep getting guests on, but most of it is meant to go towards providing school supplies towards kids in need. It's my commitment to put $3 of every monthly subscription towards providing school supplies to kids in need and helping them achieve their goals and dreams as well. This is a passion of mine. This is something that I really have been pursuing. This is why I have started all this, the podcasting, the books, everything like that, was to give opportunities to other people. So I'm very excited to be able to do this now. The subscription is $4.99 a month, so nothing crazy, unless one cup of coffee a month, that sort of thing. But it's very exciting, and it's going towards something that I am really passionate about and believe in. And I hope you enjoy the benefits of being a premium subscriber. There'll also be discounts and things along the way that I'll make available to people as time moves on and as this continues to grow. The link to subscribe is in the description below, so check that out. There's also a link to donate towards the mission of providing school supplies to those in need, so you can do that as well. Thanks again, and enjoy the episode. All right, welcome everyone. This is Our Travel Experiences. I'm your host, Kyle Rasmussen, and today I have with me my badass friend, Estrella. Estrella, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing good. Hope everybody's doing great.
Yeah, awesome. I'm really excited to hear about how you do all the insane things you do. I don't know how you find time for all of it. I just get tired watching you on Instagram, but kind of share a little bit about like your fitness journey and how you kind of got started on this path.
So I've always been active and just, playing sports, mainly soccer. So I've always kind of just been super active on that. But I got injured in middle school playing co-ed outside of like actual school soccer or doing just school sports. And I got a hip injury. So I had to sit out for a very long time. And I was obviously feeling, it was kind of depressing, just going through all of that, having like an instant, okay, you can no longer do the sport, you're injured, hearing that you possibly can't play anymore, like for the rest of your life. So it was very traumatizing and a very hard time. But what actually got me into fitness was exactly that, because I'm like, I can't just sit around and not do anything. So I remember my first membership was at the YMCA, probably like a lot of us, right? Mm-hmm. So I started at the YMCA, and then just, I didn't know what I was doing until recently. I honestly feel that it's like a couple years ago that I started actually getting into it and know, okay, this is what you have to actually do. Before I would just show up to the gym and then just do whatever, lift, dump, and then feel like I was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're coaching, a fitness coach as well?
Yeah. So I'm a personal trainer. I'm a nutrition coach, a soccer coach, and I do mortgages.
Yeah.
And a mom.
And you raise a family.
Yeah. Yes.
So how do you keep it all straight? I mean, that's so much going on.
Well, okay. So I live by discipline, right? Discipline is destiny, right? It's like whatever you're trying to obtain in life, you have to have some sort of discipline. But you can't just have the discipline, right? You have to stay consistent with it. And then eventually whatever you want to, whatever your goal is, it's going to get there, but it's going to take a lot of time. But the main thing is just staying consistent. Because if you just go based off of motivation, then I can tell you, you're probably not going to get far, because I'm not motivated at all most of the time. It's just like I do it because I feel like I need to, and I have a goal. So it's really also just making sure that I set myself up. I also believe that if you feel good, you do good, you look good, but you're able to provide better. So, if I were just an example, when I don't go to the gym, and it's not even like for physique purposes, it's more like mentally. Like now that I go because I feel like I just need to go, and it's just like I'm away because I'm in all the hats that I carry. I'm usually, you can say that you're catering to other people. So there's never really room to cater myself. So when I go to the gym, it's just like, okay, relax time. And then I feel like I can serve the rest of the people around my life. Yeah.
So on those days that you aren't motivated, how do you still get yourself to go to the gym and do all the things you do?
Honestly, this morning was one of the days. So just back and track a little bit. I, for the most part, go to the gym at 4:30. I'm at the gym by 4:30. I know. And it's not because I want to, but because I kind of have to, right? Like we mentioned, I have all these other things to do. And then plus I have a 1-year-old boy. And then my oldest son, that he's 8, but I wouldn't be able to do everything I want to do if I would just to like go at a time that, 6, 7, 8 or whatever the other, whatever time, because then my husband goes right after me too. So for instance, this morning, I really didn't want to go. And I'm like, no, sorry, get it. Because if you don't, it's just going to set you up for the rest of your day. And I just know how I feel the rest of my day. And I'm like, okay, I'm not motivated, but I know that if I don't go, it's just going to make me feel worse. So that's kind of like just behind my head, like, hey, if you don't do it now, well, you're not going to do it. You're going to feel even worse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. On those days where you maybe miss a day, how does that change your whole day?
It messes it up a lot, actually. So I'm so much a routine person that I feel like I like routine, right? Where it's like I know what I'm doing for the most part in the mornings. It's like, okay, I know that in the mornings and in my afternoons, I know how that I want to start them and end them. During the middle, I just know it's crazy. It's like, especially in the industry that I am as a loan officer, you have meetings here, you have clients, like things popping up or like, just unexpected circumstances that just happen all the time. So I know that if I don't go, it's just like, well, now me still mentally thinking like, hey, I need to get this in so I can feel better. Just, to be able to, I don't know. It's just like, I just feel like I need to go. If I don't, I still somehow find a way to get it in between time, but it just takes up from something else. Yeah. So, yeah,
it's wild. I know. Actually, I was looking today because I woke up at about 6:30, and you had already been to the gym and posted about it and everything. Yeah. And I was like, gosh, dang it! I feel like I have done nothing today, and I don't even have young kids or anything to worry about. Yeah. It's pretty wild how you do it all. How do you think you've changed from maybe the last few years when you said you first started like really focusing on it to now?
Like physical wise?
Yeah, physical wise and just like, yeah.
So physical, I feel, well, it's a lot. Well, between, so I actually was going to start join a body competition and I signed up. I had my bikini ready, everything. That kind of first, I guess I can start here. I started counting macros maybe 5 or 6 years ago. No, like maybe 5 years ago. And the reason behind that was because I just was not seeing progress. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. I go to the gym, like what is missing, right? I'm like, what the heck is going on? Well, if you've heard before, maybe you have, it's like 80% of your, of your physique is going to be nutrition. The rest is going to be made at the gym. Like, or how they say, like, the abs are made in the kitchen. Like, no, seriously, they are. Because if you're not eating right, well, then basically all the work at the gym is just like you're not going to get far. Yeah. Unless you have like the great genes, and I guess so. But I don't. I'm like, I have to get not only my training in, but also make sure that my nutrition is on point. So I started counting macros, and then that's when I started to see a change in my body. And then I was like, okay, I kind of got into this social media, I don't know, not trend. I guess you can say trend. Yeah, where I started following all these people that were like in body competitions. And I'm like, man, I feel like I can do that. So then I started prepping for it. I hired a coach. I was doing it for 2 years where I was like, figuring out how my body was responding to certain things. Well, then I ended up getting pregnant with my baby. So obviously I didn't compete, but I'm actually thinking about doing it again, and I'm hoping to do it next year. So we'll see. So it's definitely been a roller coaster ride, but the biggest thing is setting a plan every day at the gym, knowing exactly what I'm going to go and do. That's like the biggest key I would say to anybody listening. It's like, if you don't know where to start, you can use TikTok, Pinterest, literally anything, and just look up split days, show up with a plan, and then you're fine. And then with your nutrition, just make sure that you're eating, good. And that's my biggest takeaways, I guess.
Yeah. With with your workout routines and your nutrition, do you plan like the night before, or do you plan like a week in advance, or plan for a year?
Yeah. So actually for my nutrition, I still count my macros. And I don't really change them. So right now it's kind of interesting because I still nurse at night, but it's not like so frequent. So it's just been interesting, like how, like the postpartum journey of it, but I still keep my macros the same. So pretty much my meals look pretty repetitive. It's kind of boring, but I mean, it's what works for me and for my family too, where it's like, okay, I, get up, cook, whatever. I already been doing it for so long that I already know what my body needs. Mm-hmm. And for training, actually, I've been doing the exact same training split for a whole year now. Wow. So that's another thing that I looked into, where it's like, you don't really need to be switching it up constantly. Mm-hmm. You can be doing the same, movements, but just, switching the reps and the sets and the weight. Yeah. Like that's what's really going to integrate and, have you like see the difference in it. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. How do you feel that your, being on top of your fitness and nutrition has helped you in other areas of life, like in your business?
So when I'm not, so kind of going back, being disciplined in my fitness and, doing like the fitness and the nutrition, it's helped me then being disciplined in every other area of my life. Mm-hmm. So this job is a sales job, right? Where it's like you have to be very repetitive and you're not going to see results right away. Mm-hmm. You have to put a lot of time and effort and just really invest into it. So I kind of just tie it hand to hand, where it's like just how with fitness and training, I have to really invest and just keep doing it, stay consistent, stay on top of it, even if you kind of get frustrated or you maybe hit a plateau or it's just like, no, you're not going to see the results right away, but eventually you will. So in this industry with, and it's pretty much for anybody too, where it's like you're not seeing the results right away. Like for us, when you're starting a business or when you're starting up in a new career, you're probably not going to see like, all the studying or all the client reaching out or you doing all of this work until like months later. And then when you keep up with it. So I feel like that discipline has really helped me set up for success. And also with coaching, with coaching soccer and then with my family too. It's just like, hey, I integrate it with my boys too. It's like, hey, if you want to work something, you kind of have to go for it and stay on it. Like, don't just give up. You just got to keep going and kind of hustle. So I have like that mentality. So it's definitely helped in a lot of areas.
Okay. Yeah. I feel the same way, with my own, once I started focusing on fitness, I noticed like everything else in my life kind of improved. Mm-hmm. It just made it like easier to stay disciplined in those other areas, and have the discipline that you need to actually succeed in other areas of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With the coaching soccer, what has coaching maybe taught you about yourself or about others?
It's taught me how much I actually enjoy kids. Yeah. Kids can be a lot, to deal with. But it's also such a stress reliever for myself where it's taught me that I am a big believer that if you just have one person to believe in you, that's literally all you need. So I have so many kids where I do it, not just because I love the sport, because I like to see them grow and I see how happy they are, but they don't realize like their kids are so innocent that, and this is like from all ages too, because I've coached older boys and same thing, but seeing them progress and seeing how much they enjoy life, it just teaches you to take a step back and just be like, okay, like don't take it too serious. Yeah. Like have fun once in a while. I'm a very strict coach. I will say that. I also think that I do it for not just to show them that, hey, you do have to work hard for what you want. You can have fun, yes, but also like same thing, going back to what we're talking about, like that quota, I guess I will say, the discipline is destiny. Like, hey, you guys want to win? They wanted to go undefeated because they wanted to pour water jug on me. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. Like, that's going to be a deal. Yeah. I'm like, okay, in order for you guys to do that, I'm not going to go easy on you guys. You guys have to show up and like, give it your all. And yes, they're kindergartners, but I have other age groups too, where it's like, okay, I have 10-year-olds, their ego is starting to build up, and it's like, no, let's, bring you back to reality. Like, you have to work hard for this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong in this. I coach a few sports as well. And I feel like the fun, like your ability to have fun in the sport also comes from staying disciplined.
Yep.
And working towards what you want. I feel like if you keep that discipline, then you like open up the opportunity to have fun too.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. You can ask my kids this, because the second practice they showed up, I told them, like, hey, yeah, we're going to have fun. It's going to be a great season. I want you guys to show up and, give it your 100%. And it's like, hey, the more you guys listen to me and, be ready to go, we're going to have more playing time. Mm-hmm. Well, you can ask them how that went that day, because I had them do suicides.
Yeah.
They hated me. But hey, it showed them, right? It showed them like, okay, no, she said, like Coach Starr said, if we're not listening to her, we're going to do this. And they knew. So this is what happened. They weren't listening. And I get it. Their attention span is so tiny, but it's like, kids are so smart, and you can start like now. There's no age where it's like too soon to start integrating all of this. It's like, no. So I was like, okay, we're going to run suicides, up until I say stop. I'm like, once you guys are ready, we're going to scrimmage. Cause that was the plan originally, to scrimmage for the rest of the practice, but it wasn't happening. Well, then they stopped their suicides, and then I let them play. Well, 2 minutes in, I blew the whistle, and I'm like, all right, practice is over. So all the kids were like, what? That's it? I'm like, yeah, come on, bring it in. I'm like, you see, that's what happens when you're not taking it serious to begin with. You don't have fun. I'm like, you're taking away from your fun time. So I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good example. How long have you been coaching?
For 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen like maybe some of those kids your first year, as they've grown, have you seen like changes in their lives, or how they like come back to you and said thank you, or that sort of thing?
Yes. One specifically comes to mind. I mean, there's a lot of them, and their parents still reach out, because going back. So when I take on a team, it's like I start them at the young age, kind of like this team that I have now. It's a completely new team. It's kindergartners, right? But we basically take them up until they're older, and then okay, let them go, because that's usually when they start club soccer, and then that's a whole other story. But it really starts with the fundamentals of even teaching them how to kick a soccer ball, right? Or even showing them that discipline to begin with, and then kind of just like being that top of mind. Because I feel like if you're a coach can impact your life so much. And that was my goal. I'm like, I had so many great coaches impact me, and I still to this day like look back and I'm like, man, like a lot of the things that he said still stay in my mind. So I wanted to do the same and just maybe take it a step further. So I just every opportunity, just really having to allow them to grow, I've taken it. So one little boy, we do like a little awards after the season is over, and like most improved, or the MVP and this and that. This one, he had no idea, never played soccer before, but now seeing him play, he's a little beast. And I'm just like, wow, like you see, like that, it just shows how much it can pay off and how much somebody can actually impact their life. Until this day, their parents still reach out and say like, hey, thank you so much. Like they did like a little video from like his progression, and there wow. I am, helping him kick the ball and screaming on the sideline and doing this. And then, you have him over here now playing competitive soccer, and, still it's nice. Like, wow, you're now part of something that, turned into something even greater.
Yeah. That's gotta be so rewarding.
Oh yeah. For sure, yes.
I'm sure it probably fuels you to keep doing that and impact more lives.
Yes, 100%. I feel like this is if I could just like quit my day jobs and just do anything, I think I would 100% just go and stick with coaching. Yeah.
Is there any other sport you coach besides soccer?
No, that's the only one. That's the only one that I've done. So I did wrestling and I mean, played volleyball, but that's it. I've never really dug in deeper. Just soccer is just like my little niche.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is either because I probably wouldn't be I don't know. It's weird. Like I probably wouldn't be the best. I have a thing where it's like I'm good with boys for whatever reason, like boys, and maybe because it's that mentality that I have that I don't know if I were to scream at a girl, they'll probably like,
yeah.
So like, snap back at me, and I'm just like, oh, whoa, So I don't know. I just like stick to soccer. I've never really thought about doing another sport other than that.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever dealt? I know you said you dealt with an injury in middle school. Have you dealt with an injury in the last few years at all?
Well, no. So I actually started playing soccer again. When was it? This last season. So a couple months ago. And I'm like, okay, 7 years later or 8, whatever, how long it's been. I'm going to try it. So I tried it. And the first day I got my quad tore.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, dang it. Like, no. So that was very hard. I didn't realize it tore until like mid-season, so I kept playing, and obviously I wasn't letting it rest or heal because it wasn't too severe where I needed to get it checked. There's like 3 levels to it, and it was just like mid-level where it was like, okay, I can feel it, but I would notice it when I would run or when I would doing the extended stretch on it. I was like, ouch, like really hurts, and I'm like, what the heck? But other than that, that's the only injury that I've had.
Okay. How did that set you back at all, or did it?
It did, because I had to take 3 weeks off or a little bit longer. So then when I went back to play, I was like so like lost. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy how like you miss a couple of games, and then when you go back, you're just like so confused. Like you know what you're doing, but you don't. It's so weird. So that's kind of how I felt. I was like, okay, this is not it. So I plan to continue playing, but just right now I don't know if can fit in my schedule. I'm like I have other things to do now. So it's like the kids first, and then mom. So
what's that like? Being a role model for your young kids.
It's very nice. I feel like I don't do it with an intention.
What's up, everyone? Kyle here. I am super excited to share that my audiobook version of Travel Tips is up now. You can find it on Audible, Libro.fm, and anywhere else that you get your podcasts. Go check it out and buy a copy. It also has 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes of bonus commentary that isn't in the actual book, so that's a little added bonus. But go check it out. I appreciate all the support, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode.
To be a role model, I just feel like if they feel heard and they know like, okay, I can, they can confide in me, I feel like that's enough. And then you eventually start turning into a role model without even knowing, I guess. So it's very nice when you have, kids coming running up, or coach star, or coach this or coach that, like, the respect too that you get. It's so nice. Like, I love it. It's very rewarding, and it just makes me keep wanting, just keep doing it, man, because it's really nice.
How did you, I'm curious, maybe for the moms out there, potential moms, how was it, still keeping up with everything while you were pregnant? Did you keep going to the gym, keep doing that sort of thing? Yeah,
so I stayed active my whole pregnancy. I told myself that I would stay active because I just felt like I needed to. And then besides, it's like health reasons, right? I'm like, I want this pregnancy to be good. I want, I don't want any risks of gaining any chronic disease. That's like huge. Like, my family has diabetes, cholesterol, and that. I don't, but I'm like, heck no, this is not an option for me. Like, I got to stay active. So I just stay active throughout my whole pregnancy. With my first one, I actually was playing soccer at 4 months. I didn't even know. Dang. I know. So I was like still playing soccer with him. And then, because I did start playing, you guys are probably thinking, wait, weren't you in middle school? No. So I started playing again. but it was very small amount of time because then my hip just would not give it in. So I just remember playing like probably 3 games and I'm like, okay, there, I'm like, this is it. Well, in reality, I don't even think it was my hip anymore. It was probably because I was pregnant. I was so out of breath. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And then with Santi, my baby, I was still lifting, doing everything normal. Because it's not, the doctor cleared it and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, let's keep doing. And I can say it definitely has helped with the pregnancies in like smooth, I guess I can say.
Well, that's good. Yeah. That's good. What's some goals moving forward for you?
Moving forward, I still want to continue coaching. That's like, one of the big ones. Like I mentioned, doing the competition, that's going to be another goal down the future. For my kids, I still want them to keep playing sports. My oldest, he's in competitive soccer and he loves it. And so I just kind of want to be there. That's kind of like where where it's kind of hard to, I can't really choose, right? It's like, I'm obviously going to choose my son. So like right now when I'm coaching, it interferes with his practices. And I'm that mom that like, I just like to go to every practice. And that's probably going to change as he gets older, but I liked it, So now I have to like sacrifice some of that time. But I'm not ready to sacrifice it fully yet. So it's going to definitely I'm going to have to decide, like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue doing this or that route for now? But my goal is to eventually continue coaching. And if I'm being super transparent and realistic, and this is probably like a 10-year goal, like I would want it to get to a level where kids don't have to play sports and have like a good group of coaches. Because anybody can coach, right? But for you to be a good coach and have that impact like we were talking about, like that takes a lot. And I would like that to happen some way, somehow, I don't know. Just really I feel like kind of going back what we were saying, when you start doing something for yourself and you feel good, you look good, you that energy, you get set up for the rest of your day, whatever. Well, same thing with sports and kids. I feel like if you just have that one person that believes in them, it's going to keep them, one, it'll probably keep them out of trouble. 2, it's just going to help them continue growing and then just show them so many different things in life that I feel like that's one of my big goals. And I don't know how I'm going to do it or what like my plan is, but I just know that I want to do something along those lines where I'm able to provide and give back to the kids and just really invest in them to continue into doing sports and really just go after it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure if anyone can do it, it's you.
Thank you.
Have you what resources have you used along the way that have really helped you out? Like I know you have the coffee bean book over there.
Yes.
Every day I'm like, okay, what's this day?
I know. So yes, the Coffee Bean is a great book. Not sponsored, by the way. Just kidding. But if you can sponsor us.
Yeah, there you go.
No, so this is actually it's a really nice book. So part of so this is what I'm going to say. Getting a daily routine, and especially your morning routine, right? If you can set anything up, if you maybe can't do a night routine, or vice versa, if you can't do a morning routine, do a night routine, whatever, I say that's like so important. And in your morning routine, really take time to meditate or look into a positive message, whether it's reading a book, listening to a podcast, or I don't know. Literally nowadays you can go on Google and just put daily quotes. I don't know. It can be so simple. I feel like it all starts there, right? Like with how you're thinking and where your mentality goes, where if you kind of like, what they say is if you surround yourself by positive people, you're going to be positive. If you surround yourself by negative, it's just going to like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing? Just instant negativity. So a lot of my resources have been books, podcasts. There's so many out there, like Adam Milet, Jay Shelley. There's like way more that you can just go on and like look. So that's kind of been my main resources, but also I wouldn't be able to do it without my partner. Like he's great, supportive. Like, he helps in any areas that I lack, he picks up and vice versa. So that's huge. Having a good support system, right? And if you're not married, have a mentor. I have mentors. I have coaches. I'm still in a coaching program for work because it kind of all intertwines. Like if you're a coachable person, then that proves that, hey, you're willing to get critiqued and fix the areas that you need help with.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think like you're good enough or that you know it all. It's like really have that open mindset and be willing to get coached and have a mentor and have someone to confide in and go look at resources. So yeah, that's mainly it.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think it's huge to have, someone, at least one person that, you can kind of lean on to pick up where you struggle, the areas that you struggle in, and balance you out a little bit. Just be like, hey, calm down or something like that too.
Yes. I need that sometimes too. It's like, okay, sir, you can't do it. Because that's a problem. That's a problem.
I'm definitely the person, I'm the dreamer. I'm like, oh, I can totally do this and this and this. And I need someone to be like, hey, settle down. Let's get the first step first.
Yeah.
And then we can get to step 100 later. But you got to take kind of incremental steps to get there.
Yes. One more, right? I think Ed Milet is huge, like good and messages. Have you heard of him?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you need to. That's going to be your homework. You need to look at he's on YouTube. He has his own podcast too. It's like great. It's motivational, life, everything, for literally any area of your life, and it's just so rewarding to listen to him. And
okay. How do you spell it?
It's ED, and then Milet is MYLETT, I believe.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. He's a speaker as well. So, yeah, good stuff.
Do you ever go to I guess any like meetups of like coaches, or find a group of coaches or mentors or something to be a part of, some kind of like conference or something like that?
Not necessarily, not yet. Well, I guess so. Going back, this industry, you kind of have to be doing face to faces,
mm-hmm.
going to all these like little events and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I guess in some way, yes, but it's more so to just like meet new people and not so much kind of like mentorship.
Yeah.
But for mentoring, yes, I do have one for just work specifically, where I have my coach, and it's just like, what do I do this? What am I struggling with? This, and kind of just bounce ideas off. And then with our team here in Yakima, actually, we have like morning meetings kind of daily. Mm-hmm. Same thing. It's just that accountability and the discipline, right? That's just stays consistent and just helps out. So yeah, those are the main. And then spiritually too, we have, go to church Sunday and Wednesdays. That's another topic, but it's like, I feel also it's like if you're doing good spiritually and physically, mentally, everything, then it just kind of lines everything else up.
Mm-hmm. When you feel maybe something's off, are you able to find like, oh, maybe it's in my spiritual life or my fitness life or something like that? Are you able to find that?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. Because it's always one or another, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, we can't do it all. And it's just, we're imperfect. And it's like, for the most part, it's always like, I'm doing so great here, but man, spending so much time in this area is not allowing me to focus so much here.
Mm-hmm.
Having that balance is like so important, but it's hard. It's very difficult. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, I can balance it all. Like, no, I can't. Like, it's hard. Like, I can guarantee you I'm probably killing it in one area, but it's like, that means in something else, I'm just like probably struggling
mm-hmm.
with, right? And maybe it's not even struggling, but it's probably, I can be doing more than, what I want to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm curious, if you were, fast forward to you're 100 years old now, mm-hmm. and you're looking back on your life, what would make you feel good about the life you've lived?
I think me trying and just having, I can say I'm, for the most part, a positive person and just like to serve other people. So I would say that I'd be proud of me, really, like, always thinking about other people, mm-hmm. and just trying to help others be better. It's kind of weird because I don't really think about myself being better, but somehow it ends up like turning, and it just allows me to be a better person. So I think that's like the biggest take, where it's like, if you, yes, be selfish to a certain extent on, working on your areas of life, mm-hmm. that you need to, but if your focus is to help other people, if that is your intention, then it's going to come out. Like, if you're doing it with a good intention, like, you're going to do it. So I think that's going to be what I'm proudest of. And that's just like for family and everything.
Yeah.
Parents, my siblings and kids and everything, and coaching kids, like everything, just trying and just be a positive person. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any advice you would have for someone who, maybe is struggling in some area of their life and looking to get on this track of discipline and whatever they want to do? What kind of advice would you have for someone like that?
I do. Okay. This is good. This is good. Okay. So first thing is have clarity. So have clarity on what it is that they want, right? Because if you don't have clarity, you don't know what you want. So how are you going to get something if you don't know what you want, right? Yeah. So it's like, okay, have clarity exactly on what you want. Once you have it down, like, okay, think about the things that you need to do, or think about the steps that you need to get there. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. It's called SMART goals, right? Where it's like so you set goals. They have to be sustainable, measurable, realistic, and I can't think of all of them from the top of my head, but you have to set goals and then just go for it, man. Just do it, because going back, motivation is not going to be the key here. The key is to look at what you want. Like, what is it that you're trying to achieve? So really have clarity and make that like the biggest thing. So literally get a notebook, write it down. It's like, whether it's a physical goal or maybe it's a goal for career wise, write it down. A lot of people do what is the vision board, right? Where it's like, I want this house. I want this car. I want this job, or, I want a family. Whatever it is, you really have to know exactly what you want. And then start breaking it down into little pieces. Okay, what do I have to do? So if you want to start going to the gym, or let's say if you want your physique to look better, okay, that's your goal, right? Break it down. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to get there? Maybe you don't have a membership. Okay, that's step 1. Go get a membership. Step 2 would be start going to the gym, right? Set up a plan for yourself. Like I mentioned, kind of going back, it's not that complicated. Reach out for advice if you have to. I guarantee you somebody will say yes, versus turning you away. And if they are, they're complete a-holes, but, just go to someone else. But really just having a clear vision, then just start setting goals. And that's like the biggest thing. And after that, it kind of becomes addicting, where it's just you keep going, just keep doing it. And for everything, really, it's like that consistency. Once you're past that action phase, the maintenance is probably the hardest. But then once you're there, it's so hard to get off track.
Yeah.
So
it sort of becomes a habit. Of reaching those goals. I think too, I don't know where I've heard this in a lot of different motivational talks and stuff like that, but having that big goal that you're shooting for and then breaking it down into little goals or little steps, and then you can check off those little goals a lot easier and get some wins under your belt. That can really help, keep that motivation up and keep you wanting to keep going towards that goal.
Yeah, 100%. Being realistic, right? Where it's like, if you're not setting these realistic goals, and it's like, okay, I want to, going to be in a competition, right? If I'm being realistic, I have a lot of work to do, and it's like, it's probably going to take a year and a half to get where I want to. But if I were to set the goal, okay, start your stepping on stage at the end of the year, okay, I probably will, but I probably will make myself I probably will show up with the physique that is nowhere near how it's supposed to be, and just kind of I would feel unsuccessful, right? Like I failed. So to avoid the failure, you do have to, take it step by step. And like you said, just check them off as you go. And just the goal is to keep going. And that's the main thing. Just don't give up yet. It's stay consistent, keep going. The results will come.
Yeah. That's huge. How do you deal with distractions?
Well, that's easy. that's easy to come. There's a lot of distractions everywhere. Let's see. So distractions. Well, I guess it's kind of the same thing of going back to having clarity, right? Where it's and it really just ties into the discipline. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Take a shot after just tie myself discipline. Just kidding. No, so if you're disciplining, if you have that clear vision of whatever it is that you're trying to succeed, you have your mindset. It's all in your mindset, where it's hey, I have to get there. And yes, you're going to fall off track and this and that, but if you go back on the road, where you're supposed to be, that's kind of the biggest thing. So me with dealing with distractions, and it can be, for instance, if I have to work on a file and then I'm just like getting so distracted, either like spent an hour on the phone or, scrolling on Instagram or on TikTok or whatever. It's like, no, you have to set boundaries too, right? Like boundaries is huge for everything, whether, in your career or in anything, you need to set boundaries for yourself in order for you to get what you want.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to answer that because there's so many distractions in so many different ways. It's just like, okay, it's as long as you go back and, kind of snap back into it, then I think that's like the biggest thing. And just stay mindful, I guess.
Yeah. One of the things I've heard a lot lately that I think it's something I really need to work on. I think that's another goal of mine in the near future is learning how to say no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really bad about saying no because I'm interested in so many different things and I want to be a part of all of it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say no. Do you ever struggle with that?
Yes. Like I can relate to you 100%. Like I keep saying yes to all these things and I'm just like, Star, why did you do that? And in reality, okay, so this is good. Okay, so you say yes to all these things that you know that you can accomplish. And it's not because you know that you can't do it, right? You're not going to say no because it's like, oh no, I can't do that. You're going to say no because it's really thinking, I'm saying no because I don't want to half-ass it. If you think about it that way.
Yeah.
Because if you're carrying all of these hats or, if you're doing so great on these areas, you're slacking on the other, right? So the way I started saying no, it's like, okay, think about it. What do you have going on? All right, if I say yes to this, it's going to come back from this. If I say yes to this, it's going to come back from this. All right, if I say no, and, look at your, whatever it is, it's like weigh your pros and cons or whatever is like the best. But saying no is hard. But if anything, you're going to be doing yourself a favor if you say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like in the short term it might be hard, but long term, you probably thank yourself.
Yes. No, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, any other advice you want to give or, just things you want to share with the listeners about your awesomeness, your life?
I think it's, well, I appreciate you saying all these wonderful things. And I just say it's all a mental thing where it's like, if you are ready to do something in your life and make changes, it all really starts with with you, right? Start making changes within yourself first, and then everything else will come. I'm telling you, I live by that. As soon as you start doing things for yourself, you kind of do have to be selfish a little bit. And going back, saying no to people, that's the hardest part. But as soon as you start putting things in perspective and being like, okay, no, I have to fix these things, this area in my life, then I'll be able to do X, Y, Z. So if anything, I guess my biggest advice would be to be selfish a little bit. Start saying no more often. Look at the areas that you're wanting to improve and start setting those goals and go after it.
Yeah, I like that. No, that brings up, what's that saying of like, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yep.
I think that's really important. You got to fill yourself up first before you can, pour into others.
Yeah, or the airplane, right? When they're doing the presentation, when you go on an airplane, it's like put your mask on first because you can't put it on. You can't help other people if you don't have your own. So going back to that. So that's my biggest takeaway. If anything, do things for yourself first, and everything will come.
Well, Estrella, you are definitely one of the most inspiring people I know. I'm really glad that we've kind of reconnected after all these years. And every day I'm like, what's Estrella doing? What's the coffee bean thing of the day? Because it just helps keep me going and focused on my goals too. So I really appreciate you and for taking the time to do this and share with people.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and inviting me over. It's been great. And I look forward to more of your podcast. So yeah,
definitely.
Appreciate it.
Really quick, do you guys have a giveaway going on, don't you?
We do have a giveaway. So I have a giveaway on my home loan page. It is Seahawks versus 49ers. I'm giving 2 tickets for the Thanksgiving game.
Okay.
So it's going to be a good one. You can go follow me. All you have to do, it's like You don't have to do anything crazy. It's an Instagram giveaway. You go follow my page, you like it, share, tag people. The more people you tag, the more entries you get to win. The home loan page, my business page is Home Loans by Estrella Sanchez. So good luck to everybody. If you guys are going to enter, it's a good one.
Okay. What's the deadline to enter that?
The deadline. So the deadline, we're going to be drawing, the deadline is October 30th, 31st. Because we're going to announce the winner on November 1st. Okay. Just to give them time, if they do win the tickets, if you guys need to give notice it's Thanksgiving Day, but I don't know if they need to ask for certain days off or something. Mm-hmm. So,
okay, very cool. And if someone wants to maybe, get some nutrition coaching or fitness coaching, how can they find you?
Yes, you can find me at star.sanchez. I'm at regular Instagram page, personal Instagram page. It's public, so you guys can reach me out there, or you guys can even give me a call, 509-367-4113, or email at coaching.star@yahoo.com.
Okay, there you go. And I definitely recommend going and following her on Instagram. You'll be very inspired, to say the least.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you somewhere around the world soon.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you to all the listeners and subscribers of this podcast. It's amazing that I get the opportunity to do this and, talk to all of these amazing people around the world and hear their stories and share it with you. It's been a dream doing this. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to keep moving forward with it. As always, the subscriptions, $3 of the monthly subscription goes towards providing school supplies to kids in need around the world. And I'll be providing more updates on those, on progress with that as time moves along. But again, hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next week for another inspiring story and great episode. Have a great week. See you next time. Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and now Amazon Music as well. Just search for Our Travel Experiences on any of those platforms and it will pop up. You can also find everything all in one place on my website, ourtravelexp.com. And if you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences, so please send them my way. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my weekly YouTube show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions from listeners, share some souvenirs that I bought over the years, share my postcards over the years that I've accumulated, or share videos and pictures from one particular city or country that I visited, and so much more. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed, and make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon.